Today for lesson 39, we are going to be talking about reading an inch scale to the nearest fourth. So on a ruler, whenever you look at the little bitty lines, we can round measurements to the nearest inch or to the nearest half inch, to the nearest fourth of an inch, eighth of an inch, 16th of an inch. But today we're just focusing on to the nearest fourth. Okay. Looking at the very beginning, and you can follow along with me in your book. Most of this comes directly from your book. It says, to measure lengths in inches, we use an inch scale. Inch scales are found on rulers and also on tape measures. An inch scale often has tick marks. Those are the little bitty lines between the inch marks. So the inch marks are usually labeled with the number, the whole number, 1, 2, and so on. These tick marks let us read the inch scale to the nearest half inch, quarter inch, or eighth of an inch. You can even find tape measures to the 16th of an inch, sometimes even 32nd of an inch. Depends. Some carpenters like that exact precise measurement, so they might get a tape measure that measures it even smaller than that. So it says, in this lesson, we're going to practice reading to the nearest quarter of an inch, which means fourth. Remember, 1/4 inch is the same as 1/4 of an inch. Think about money. Think about how many quarters make up a dollar. 4. So when I use the word quarter, I'm talking about fourths. When reading inch scales, keep in mind that 2/4 is the same thing as 1/2. Okay? The two circles below show that these equivalent fractions are the exact same. You have 2/4 on the left, you have 1/2 on the right. The exact same amount is shaded. Does everybody agree with that? Do you understand and see that? Okay. You can recall this relationship by remembering that 2/4 equal half of a dollar. So just like I said a second ago, if you think about quarters and money, you can imagine the amount of quarters that it takes. 3/4 is 75 cents and so on. Yes?
Wouldn't that be called equivalent fractions?
Equivalent fractions.
Yeah,
exactly right.
At my old school, we went over that.
Yes. Okay, so here we have inches by the whole number. Then we have inches that are marked in half. So it's kind of like a number line. Everybody with me on that? So it's like going from 0 to 6 in the middle. And instead of counting by ones, I'm counting by halves. So I have a little tick mark every half of an inch. And then on the bottom one, I'm counting by fourths. So it's just like a number line broken up. It's already labeled for you. Okay, example 1 says, how long is a toothpick to the nearest quarter inch? What does quarter mean again? Fourth. Good. It means fourth. Okay. The toothpick is 2 inches plus a fraction. Okay. I want you to look at where the toothpick ends right here. 2.5. Does everybody agree that this is 1/2 right here between 2 and 3? Okay. So then my answer would be 2.5 inches. That's to the nearest quarter inch. Half can represent how many quarters? Think about money. What's half of a dollar?
50 cents.
50 cents. So Elijah, say that again. 2. 1/2 is equal to 2 quarters. Okay. All right, example 2. Hajari has 3 boards. One board is 1.5 inches thick. The second board is 2 inches thick, and the third board is 2.5 inches thick. If Hajari selects 2 of the boards and stacks them one on top of the other, then the 2 boards could have a combined thickness of how many inches? Okay, well, I have one that's 1.5 inches right here. I have another that is 2 inches right here. So if I combine those, I have 1 plus 2, which is how many whole inches? 3 whole inches plus the 1/2. So that one's 3.5. Everybody understand how that one works there?
Yeah.
Okay. This one, I have 2 plus 1, which is 3 whole inches. But then I still have half of an inch plus another half of an inch. That's a whole inch, right? So I got to add that 1 more whole inch plus the 3 I already have for 4 total inches. And then over here, 4 plus a half is 4.5 inches. Are we good so far? Can I keep going, or do we need to stop and talk a little bit longer?
Keep going.
Okay. All right. This one says, draw a picture that shows that 2/4 equals 1/2. Name each point marked by an arrow on this inch scale. Okay, so 2/4 is going to equal 1/2. I'm going to draw rectangles that are the exact same length, and I'm going to split 1 in half. I'm going to split 1 into fourths. On one of these, I'm going to shade 2 of the 4 pieces, and on the other, I'm going to shade 1 of the 2 pieces. Does everybody agree that that is the exact same amount?
Yes.
Okay, the only difference is the total number of pieces I've broken it up into, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now if I want to name each point marked by an arrow, if I'm looking at B, okay, B is less than 1. Where is B pointing? 3/4, very good. Okay, look at C, it's between 1 and 2. 1.5, good. These are inches, 2. D, 2 and 1/4, good job. And then E, 3 and 3/4 inches. Oh, you guys are zipping right through this. The next one says to estimate. Measure the length and width of your notebook paper to the nearest 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you right now. Notebook paper is typically gonna be around 8 and like 10.5-ish, okay? A sheet of computer paper, like plain white paper, a worksheet, is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. So if I were doing a sheet, like a worksheet, what would I do for the nearest 1/2 inch? If it's 8.5 normally by 11. Measure the length and width to the nearest 1/2 inch. Would I need to do anything? Does that look okay? Is it already set up into the measurements that are to the nearest 1/2 inch? I'm seeing some head nods. Are we sure or unsure? We're sure? Yes. Okay, that is already set up correctly. Okay, now if I do take a ruler and I were to measure, let me find the ruler real quick, and I were to measure a sheet of notebook paper. Anybody have one? Just notebook paper? I'll grab one real quick. That's a little bit smaller than a normal size. Okay, if I take this notebook paper here, will you hold this? Thank you. Hold it up high. Here, let's just do one. Okay, I'm gonna take this ruler and I'm gonna put it right up here. Okay, about, what is that?
That's you're doing
Oh.
centimeters.
Hang on. I need you to hold that paper again. Flip that around. That'll make it easier. Okay, so for the length of this piece of paper,
About 10 and 1/4.
10 1/4, is it closer to 11 or is it closer to 10?
10.
Everybody see it?
It's 10, closer to 10.
Closer to 10. Now, if I want to do it to the nearest 1/2 inch, is it closer to 10 or 10.5?
10.5.
Is this closer to 10 or 10.5? Okay, so the length of a sheet of notebook paper is closer to 10.5. Now let's look at the width. The width is closer to, we'll walk it around again so you guys can see. Okay, starting here. Remember, nearest 1/2 inch.
6.5. 6.5.
Okay, so we're saying closer to 6.5.
Yeah. No, 7.
It's between very good. It's between 7 and 8. So it's going to be 7 and something if I'm doing to the nearest 1/2 inch. Then we're looking to see, okay, well, the piece of paper goes past the 1/2 inch mark between the 7 and the 8. It's past the 1/2 mark. So that means
7 and
it's closer to 7.5 though, or closer to the 8? 7.5. Very good. You guys are so smart. Okay, next. Okay, I'm going to draw points A, B, and C in order on a straight line so that the distance from A to B is 1.5 inches and the distance from B to C is 3/4 of an inch. So if I do that, I'm going to have A, and it says A to B is 1.5 inches, and then from B to C is 3/4 of an inch. So if I need 1.5 inches, is my distance from A to B, which is 1.5 inches, going to be bigger or smaller than my distance from B to C? B to C is 3/4 of an inch. so it's going to be bigger. Okay, it's going to be about twice the size actually. So from A to B, this is 1.5 inches. And then from B to C, that is going to be about 3/4 of an inch. So the distance from A to C is how long? If this is 1.5 and this is 3/4, what's the whole distance from here to here?
One and two
2
and 1/4.
and 1/4. Okay, think about money again. Okay, this is like saying $1.50. This is like saying 75 cents, right? Okay, so if I took out 50 cents from the 75 cents and added it to the $1.50, that puts me at 2. But then I have a quarter left over. So 2 and 1/4, a quarter. Okay. All right, last one, and then you can start your practice. Pam selected 3 different sizes of blocks from a set. She has a 1-inch block, a 1.5-inch block, and a 2-inch block. If she stacks 2 blocks together, what are all of the possible combined heights that she could make? We can just draw pictures. So if I have a 1-inch block,
4 inches.
this is 1,
4.5.
this is 1.5. What else could I combine 1 with?
2.5.
Okay, so I could do a 1, and I could do with a 2-inch. So 1 and a 2-inch. Now I've already combined 1, 1.5, 1 with the 2. What do I need to list next?
4. 2.5.
I need to list the
2.5.
1.5. Look at my combinations I've already done. I have the 1-inch block, and I have the 1.5-inch block together. I've got a 1-inch block, and I have a 2-inch block together. Now I'm going to take my 1.5-inch block. What have I not combined the 1.5-inch block with yet?
2.
The 2. So this would be my combinations. Those are the only combinations that I can do. All the other combinations have been made. Okay. All right, today your lesson is going to start on page 268. It goes through 270. You're doing all written practice 1 through 30.